Hello, Virgo. Welcome to the Sunflower Path. My name is Jess, and I'm going to be looking at Mercury Retrograde as this a period of time where there's a lot of false starts, shakeups in our foundations. It forces us to reassess our relationships and partnerships. There might be already some odd things happening in communication, travel, and technology because we're in the pre retrograde period. So any exes or old friends may return or take a peek at our social media. The retrograde's happening during the US holidays as well, not just Halloween, but also Thanksgiving towards the end of November. So we want to avoid any awkward or heated debates, plan for any delays if we're traveling, and just be aware that this is not the best time for contracts either. So for Virgo, the Mercury retrograde starts November 9th in Sagittarius. Then it goes through Scorpio starting November 18th and ends with Scorpio on November 9th. Sorry, November 29th. But it's going to be going through your third house last, and it begins in your fourth house. So when it goes retrograde November 9th, you'll start seeing a lot of shakeups in the foundations of your home life, as the fourth house is associated with family, real estate, any emotional foundations, and relatives or people you consider your family members. And then once it goes into Scorpio, Mercury retrograding will be going through your third house, which is your siblings, any short local trips. So, again, if you're traveling, make sure you plan for any delays. It also goes through like communication and any learning environments. So, just be aware of that. I will be looking at what you need to revisit during this Mercury retrograde, what you need to release, what are unknown factors that you need to be aware of, what precautions can you take, what needs a rest, and what will keep you in balance. I will also bring out the oracle cards just for any additional information. All right, so I'll begin with what you need to revisit during Mercury retrograde. Okay, so I'll start with the first three. What needs to be revisited, what needs to be released, and what are some unknown factors? So for revisiting, you have Four of Pentacles reversed. That may be dropping down your guards and letting people in again. This might be like family members that you haven't spoken to in a while. Maybe you cut off contact, well, probably for a good reason if you've gotten a contact with someone that you're related to. It might be about letting go of control. Since upright, this dragon is holding quite tightly to the coin that's in his paws. um, it might be a sign that you might be putting too much emphasis on material possessions right now, or you've been working too hard. Um, it might be about sharing your resources, whether that be money or time or any information, knowledge that you can pass on. You can perhaps start recognizing where you are avoiding and feeling ready to let those go. For example, if you have a certain pattern of avoidance with hard topics to have with family members or even siblings, since it's going from fourth to third house, you might recognize those patterns in the upcoming weeks during this Mercury retrograde to either confront those patterns or release those patterns. Maybe you gave too much in the past, because Six of Pentacles upright is about generosity and sharing, charity. Perhaps you were too giving in the past to relationships and like family relationships. That is, uh, you shared too much of your resources. Like, I have a feeling maybe some of you had family members that would come to you to ask for help with money, or maybe just demand so much of your time that you could not give that away to them because you just had so many things happening. If it's a relationship, the relationship doesn't really come out too strongly here. This may be overcoming any types of jealousy, being open to different types of connections, giving more freely to any current partners you may have. And these both talk about giving. Like, perhaps you need to revisit your idea of how much to give and create certain boundaries so you don't burn out. The unknown factors that are coming in is that you are healing. You're going through a spiritual rebirth. There may be an Aquarius in your life that's helping you process this as well, since the star is usually associated with Aquarius. Maybe during this Mercury retrograde period, you can go out and look at the stars more. But unknown factors that are coming in is healing and recovery. Maybe you guys went through a serious health issue that you're healing from, and that may be revisited during this Mercury retrograde. Like, you're finding more answers to what's going on uh, in your health. There may be help from the family members uh, to help you heal, to give you space and time to heal. Like, maybe you can stay with a family member as you're healing. You may be inspired. You may be going through old hobbies again and finding new inspiration to explore those hobbies, those old passions that you probably haven't done in a while because you were too busy healing. But those are what you need to be revisiting and releasing during the Mercury retrograde. I want to see what precautions you can take. What needs a rest? And what will help you keep in balance? So far, I don't see any repeating numbers. Yeah, you seem to be pretty balanced. You've got some earth elemental, some air here, and then cups here. So you're pretty balanced. The only thing I don't see is fire. So you may be taking a rest from too much action. With a Nine of Swords reversed as a precaution to take, don't get too absorbed with stress. Because upright, this can be nightmares, anxiety, depression, insomnia. But reversed, I'm wondering if, as a precaution, it's telling you to move towards recovery and healing. Again, healing comes up pretty strongly. You're learning how to cope and face your problems and finding support. Again, you may be having support from family members. Like perhaps that's also like releasing this idea that you have to give so much of your time and energy towards people and actually learn to receive rather than give. So you're learning support from family members and friends. Maybe your siblings are going to step in and really help you out. So leaning into that support. I would say, as a precaution, to move away from deep mental anxiety, despair, and distress emotions. Talk it out, since it's the swords, and swords are usually an air element. So communicate when you're starting to feel overwhelmed. Release the, it might be like negative self talk, limiting beliefs that you have around yourself. Receiving support for your mental health. I don't know if any of you are in the process of seeking a therapist, maybe. What needs to rest is this Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is someone who's very much in tune with her emotions and like emotional environment. So again, I think what this means, as that is a release, so release this over giving. This might, because it represents compassion and nurturing. So I'm wondering if what you need to rest is stop giving so much away of yourself. Instead of nurturing other people, nurture yourself. As you are a very kind and empathetic person, you may be trying to solve everyone's problems and not understand that, you're a human being, you have your own limits. So nurture yourself, support yourself, practice a lot of self-care. Um, be vulnerable if need be about how you're doing so people can step in and support you rather than the other way around. And what will keep you in balance is the Seven of Cups. Now, Seven of Cups, usually, this is all about your choices, your fantasies. However, just be aware with the Seven of Cups, you don't know what's in the cups until like the last minute when you realize, oh, maybe this is not the right decision for me. So, really consider what options are available to you and what really matters to you, what would actually benefit you and your health and your well-being, so you're not overextending yourself. Um, you've got many opportunities and options ahead of you in the next few weeks when Mercury is going through your fourth and third house, in terms of like family members and siblings and even like your neighborhood. Um, just make sure you're making decisions that support you and your well-being. So I'm going to pull out these oracle cards and see what other additional messages can come through. Navigate. Beacons of light in the night sky are there to guide you. So really navigate through your choices that could support you. I also think as a beacon of light here, often stars are beacons of light that guide other people. Like sailors used to use stars to navigate the seas. And maybe use the stars to guide your way. Maybe you've been lost in the dark for a long time and you're looking up and seeing the stars for the first time. You're looking to find hope and inspiration. And you can use that to guide you, you know, recover from over giving, overextending yourself, to taking care of you. The bottom here says new horizons, because that kind of flipped out, but old ways won't open new doors. So you need to find a new way to navigate through your family members and siblings, if you have any, family friends that maybe you felt like you were giving too much of yourself and you need more of a balance now. Find new ways to engage with them. These are a tad bit difficult to shuffle because they're so much bigger than my hands. That came up very quickly. Magnificent. So this is the bird of paradise and common mother of pearl. Maybe you've got mother figures, since the fourth house is ruled by the mother and ruled by the moon. Maybe you have mother figures that can be overbearing. Either overbearing, like they demand a lot of your time, or they're extremely helpful, because the Queen of Cups can be a mother figure too. And since that's in the position of what needs to rest, maybe you could tell your mother figure, like, look, I cannot help you right now. You need to rest as well. And you need to allow me to rest, because I can't do what you are expecting me to do. That came out loud for some of you. So, magnificence is defined as impressively beautiful, elaborate, extravagant, and striking. This card challenges you to determine what it means to live a majestic life and to actively go out and live it. How can you live fully and marvelously? Do the small things and the large that will bring you to magnificence without any care for what others think. Incorporate more of what you feel to be glorious into your daily life, so that your life is not just great but magnificent. In what ways am I magnificent, and what can I do magnificently? So yeah, I hope that message helps you take care of you and find more joy, that reminds you that you are a spectacular person. Perhaps again, you've been incredibly hard on yourself, um, and need to set certain limitations on people so they don't overwhelm you over this Halloween and Thanksgiving period. All right, I hope this helps. Please like, share, and subscribe if this resonated with you. I would love to hear any feedback if you'd like. And I hope you take care, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye, Virgo.